Om Ajnanatimram Dasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Okay, today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 18th, the matter of the perfection of renunciation, text 66. It's a well-known text. So, it says that abandon all varieties of religion, okay, activities. Krishna says in this, Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma sujaha. So the eternal function of the soul is not to be a Christian, Hindu, Muslim or Jew, but to serve God. See, some people says, I don't believe in organized religion. Good, but neither does God. In Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, tells Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. One might wonder why God of all persons would tell anyone to abandon religion. The reason is this: religion, as commonly understood, gets in the way of the unique and direct personal relationship each soul can enjoy with God. People usually accept religion because they want something from God or because they want to avoid getting something from God, such as hellfire and brimstone. Thus, religion is commonly motivated by selfishness in the form of material hope or fear. According to Vedic literature, religion based on material motives is not very pleasing to God, who is, after all, a person he enjoys through personal relationships and doesn't so much like people approaching him with ulterior motives. Even the desire to attain the promised land through it may be in heaven instead of on the earth is based on ulterior motives, like satisfaction of material desires. One might imagine God asking the selfishness motivated worshippers a question like the one we used to hear in old movies, like, no, do you love me for myself or my money? So when Krishna tells us to abandon religion and surrender to him, he means we must abandon all the artificial business dealings between the soul and himself, real spiritual life. Therefore, according to Bhagavad Gita, it has very little to do with that usually goes on under the name of religion. And the Srimad Bhagavatam begins with his blunt statement that completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, This Bhagavad Purana profounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The perfection of religion is serving God with devotion. But Krishna says in the Gita, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the absolute determination for devotional service does not take place. If you take in devotional service, which awaken love of God, one gets pleasure from one's relationship with God rather than from any material or spiritual benefit one can extract from God by good behavior or prayer, right? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada states, devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of bodily comfort. Of course, religion as commonly understood does have its place in human life. In most cases, praying to God for material benefits is certainly a step up from dog eat dog competition for material gratification. Unfortunately, because such religion is motivated by the desire to satisfy the senses, when the senses are satisfied, religion is rejected, as history has shown us. For example, when we are in school, like now, we lived in a different backgrounds. Some people will be, studying in a military school. Some people in just a village background, and some people came from some city background. Like during vacations, all these background kids during vacations we travel, right? And we notice in many famous, like wherever we travel on the roads or like towns, and we can see that the dormant buildings is the, like we can see old buildings. When we see that old buildings and temples, then definitely it remembers our, oh, our previous age, like, our forefathers and great grandfathers, they lived such a wonderful religious life, right? Now we see everywhere. Uh, Whenever I go Hyderabad, I do remember uh, those Hyderabad is different. Now, present Hyderabad is different. So, I do remember, like, I was going through in 2003, uh, yeah, Madhapur and all, high-tech city, that area, okay, high-tech city was there, not much developed. High-tech city was there, and still it is under development. And now again, 2012, I went. I can't imagine whether I'm saying it's a real Hyderabad or a different Hyderabad. And recently again, I went after like in 12 years. I felt like I'm in somewhere in New York, all glass buildings, skyscrapers and all. Because we feel that this is the advancement, but actually we don't really feel that what is real advancement. The real advancement is that when we relate to ourselves and spiritually, how much we are growing, then definitely we will make connection with God. See, primarily religion means to know God and to love Him. That is religion. Nowadays, because of lack of training, nobody knows God. What to speak of loving Him? People are satisfied simply going to church and praying. Like people are going to churches, temples, and wherever are religious places. Oh God, give us our daily bread. And Prabhupada's statement, right? It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is called a cheating religion. Because the aim is not to know and love God, but to gain some personal profit. The title Hindu, Muslim, or Christian is simply a rubber stamp. None of them knows who God is and how to love Him. If God is worshipped at all, it is generally only as the invisible cosmic order supplier for human demands in this world or the next. Until I learned about devotional service by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, I had a similar understanding, especially being a like growing as a child in the during school days. We go in different situations, especially our birthdays, and we go for exams time, especially every day before exams 1 week we start going temple, circumambulate the law, temple, and exam during exam day. This become a custom because we feel that God is there to give us something which will benefit us. God, okay, God make me to um get a good score in the exams and all. But actually, the motive is not that. The motive is to please Him and serve Him and surrender unto Him, right? So, but that we are missing that. If God is worshipped at all, I had a definitely we desire to achieve the ultimate goal. Hope we all know. At least by reading Srila Prabhupada books, we can understand the purpose of life. See, the cure for this misconception lies in coming to a proper understanding of our own identity and God's. As for our identity, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we are not our temporary material bodies. The real self is the soul within the body. The soul is by nature eternal, okay, blissful and full of knowledge, and is meant to enjoy a direct personal relationship with God. Krishna, who perfectly reciprocates the spiritual loving feelings of each soul. Krishna, who has a transcendental personal form, is continuously visible to perfectly self-realized souls. In pure consciousness, there is no question of being Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or Buddhist. Krishna and the love of Krishna simply exist for each other, each constantly appearing in the other's heart. And Bhagavatam says, in Bhagavatam, Krishna says, Sadhu Hrudayam Mahyam Sadhunam Hrudayam Twaham Mat Anyat Tena Janati Naham Tebyo Manok Api. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotees. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. And similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Sarvasya Shaham Hridi Sannivisto, in 15th chapter, right? He is situated in the hearts of all living beings as the Paramatma, the super soul. He also states, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, all souls are part of me, him. When one correctly understands these facts, one can relate equally with all living things. Srila Prabhupada states, how is it is possible for men whose hearts are contaminated with unlimited sins in the form of ancient karmas to perform pure bhakti to you? I mean, we are talking about Krishna. As worship and respect as described in the previous verse, we see, unless those unlimited sins being contrary to bhakti are first destroyed by following prescribed dharma with atonements such as mortification for the body. See, paritrajya. Krishna says paritrajya, giving up completely. In their very essence, all dharmas along with prescriptions such as austerities to atone for past sins, just surrender to me. The Lord of all, Krishna, who previously appeared in many forms such as Nrasimha and Rama, who is perceived through pure bhakti and who destroys all desires and even avidya, the cause of the conditioned jiva. Surrender to me alone. He says, Mam yekam, I am the only one, surrender unto me. And do not others such as Shiva. I, the Lord of all. He's saying that I am the Lord of all. I, the Lord of all. Worthy object, surrender. Aham will free have surrender. Tvam from all past karmas. Sarva papebhya. The Lord shows the mutual actions to be done by himself and the devotees. And one should not lament in saying that Ma Sucha, thinking that it is impossible for you with short lifespan to perform difficult, extreme austerities, which short will bring about the desired result of purification of the heart after a very long time. I have stated that in surrender to me, this is not required. The Shruti also says that na karmana na parichya na prachya dehena na prachya dahnena yagnekhe amrutatvam anshuhu. Not by prescribed duties or by progeny or wealth can one attain immortality. It is only gained by some through self-surrender. The method of attaining the Lord is stated by such verses is Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat Avati. One who knows the Lord by faith, bhakti, and meditation. Now, you see that if you are a Sanishta Bhakta, you perform dharma for purification of the heart. Okay. If you are a Paranishta Bhakti, you perform dharmas to teach others. Performance of dharma is required for these types of bhakti. This is understood from these Shrutis. Tam yetam veda anuvachanena brahmana vividasanti yajne dhenena tapasa anaskena. The Brahmanas seek to know the Lord by study of the Vedas, by sacrifice, by charity, by penance, and by observing vows of fasting, and satyena labhyas tapas hi esha atma. The Lord is attained by true knowledge arising from scriptures and constant celibacy. There is another explanation that Masucha means you should not worry because of the sin incurred by giving up your prescribed duties. However, this explanation is not acceptable since there is no sin for rejecting dharmas. The sannyasi renounces the fire sacrifice by the order of the Veda. Similarly, the surrendered soul renounces his prescribed duties by the order of the Lord. Since they are unsuitable for him, moreover, by not obeying this order of the Lord, a devotee will incur sin. One should not try to explain that this was to mean that one should not completely give up all dharmas because there is sin involved in doing so, but one should rather just give up the results of the dharmas. This is not acceptable because there is no sin involved in not performing dharma in this process. Therefore, the meaning is that the surrender soul should give up all dharmas completely at the root. Nor should one argue that a person must perform his prescribed dharma based upon the reasoning that everyone must act. Nahi kasyit kshanam api. This rule does not apply because following that rule, the surrendered person is absorbed in worship of the Lord, which is also action. Moreover, just as the practice of dharmas for the sanista bhakta culminates in realization of Atma, and the practice of dharmas for paranista bhakta culminates in realization of Paramatma. So the practice of surrender alone, not practicing dharmas, for the surrendered soul culminates in purity. This is stated in the Bhagavatam 11th canto also. So, when the soul is stripped of all designations and coverings, it displays its fundamental nature as a loving servant of God. Like, herein lies the key to solving the ever-present problem of interreligious strife. In ignorance, one thinks that in terms of my religion and your religion, but persons on higher levels of spiritual realization makes no such distinctions. We are spirit souls, we are pure, but as soon as we leave the spiritual world and come in contact with these material bodies, our consciousness becomes covered. And this is why people are fighting. They are wrongly identifying with the body and thinking, I am German, like I'm a Indian, I'm so and so. This, like I am black, I'm white, I'm this and that. So many bodily designations. These bodily designations are impurities. And so we see that sometimes artists make statues that are undressed. For example, we see, and especially in West, most of the statues are undressed. They regard nakedness as a pure art. Okay. Similarly, when you come to the nakedness of the spirit soul without these bodily designations, that is called purity. I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of God. And as part and parcel of God, our business is to love Him. So the essence of religion has little to do with ritual and reward. Repentance and salvation, it has to do with the naked soul experiencing direct and personal love for God without desiring anything. Sorry? Desiring anything in return.
Yeah, consider it.
Sorry, my humble request.
Sorry, Prabhuji, it got unmuted. I'm very sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. So, okay. So the essence of religion has little to do with ritual and reward, repentance and salvation. It has to do with the naked soul experiencing direct and personal love for God without desiring anything in return. The process for entering into direct loving relationship with God is called Bhakti Yoga. the yoga of devotion. The principle of Bhakti Yoga is not faith or belief, but actual experience, which we are doing, we are experiencing in our daily life by following four regulative principles and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and personally executing devotional service by performing puja and offering prayers and to Tulasi Maharani and Lordship. Okay. The soul engaged in Bhakti Yoga can come into full and direct contact with Krishna. This is the ultimate purpose of yoga, to link the individual soul with Krishna in a relationship of pure devotional service. Srila Prabhupada says, the common religion of all classes of human beings, regardless of whosoever one may be, is devotional service. Religious affiliation in terms of different countries and cultural circumstances is obviously not the common religion of the human being. Rather, the basic principle is devotional service. We see in Srimad Bhagavatam, so when we read, we will understand actually in deeper how it works. Devotional service is the characteristics functions of the soul. In Prabhupada's introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is, he describes, devotional service as Sanatana Dharma, the eternal occupation of the self. If you see in dictionary, in English, word religion is a little different from Sanatana Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change, and one may have faith in a particular process, and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entity cannot be taken from the living entity. Sanatana Dharma is eternal, integral with the living entity. When Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the Swarupa of every living being, the Lord replied that the Swarupa, the constitutional position of the living being, is the rendering of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service means using one's senses to please the Supreme Lord instead of praying to the Lord to satisfy one's senses. The focus is on God's desires instead of one's own self-centered desires. Srila Prabhupada writes. So, that's what. Tanme dharma pratram sreshta sthanam nidheshtam ahasi yatraiva niyato vatsya atistame the anushasanam. This is from Bhagavatam. Therefore, O chief amongst the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. So the personality of Kali addressed Maharaj Parikshit as the chief amongst the protectors of religiosity, because the king refrained from killing a person who surrendered unto him. A surrendered soul should be given all protection, even though he may be an enemy. That is the principle of religion. That's what, like, sometimes we also see, sometimes we may have some differences in our family also, like among the family members. But especially as a kid, we did so many mischievous things. Sometimes, like, we blame our mother and father. We say that, okay, you did not give me, I'm asking this, that, and all. But we don't know in that age what is really need for us, right? We have so many things, whatever we see, whatever we get attracted by it, and we expect it to be own it, right? So then they don't. Does it make us they're our enemies? And do they feel us like we are their enemies? No. So, like that, similarly, in a devotee, even we don't see anyone as enemy. If somebody feels like, we can see that, by their behavior and their actions, even they comes, because we may experience some disturbances from them. Even though we get disturbances, definitely we cannot avoid three kleshas: adi bhautika, adi devika, adhyatmika. As long as one is situated in this planet, material world, one has to go through it. Even you are a devotee practicing devotional services, so devotion, so then we have to experience this. So even enemy asks us, please help me, with compassion, we help. We see as we should behave as a ajata shatru. But that one person, who is that? Dharmaraj. So that is the principle of religion. And we can just imagine what sort of protection is given by the personality of Godhead to the person who surrenders unto him, not as an enemy, but as a devoted servitor. That we have to see. The Lord protects the surrendered soul from all sins and all resultant reactions of sinful acts. That's what it mentioned in this verse. So, even we say, for those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. That's what he say. Nahi atonya shiva pantha vistaha samastatva ive vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. As will be clarified, like in devotional service or direct bhakti yoga is the only absolute and auspicious means of deliverance from the grip of material existence. There are many indirect methods for deliverance from the clutches of material existence, but none of them is as easy and auspicious as bhakti yoga. The means of jnana and yoga and other allied disciplines are not independent in delivering a performer. Such activities help one to reach the stage of Bhakti Yoga after many, many years. It states in the Klesho Adhikarastaras Tesham Avyakta Sakta Chetasam Avyakta Hi Gatir Dukkham Dehavabir Avapyate. He says that for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal future of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Okay? So, it is said that those who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Absolute are liable to many troubles in the pursuit of their desired goal, and the empiricist philosophers searching after the absolute truth realize the importance of Vasudeva realization as all in all after many, many births. Even he says in seventh chapter, right? Says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanaman Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. What did he say? After many births and deaths, he who is actually knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is such a great soul is very rare. That's why Krishna is saying finally, Prabhupada says that. What he says, Prabhupada is saying, I'll tell you. Here Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Pracha Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshashyami Masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This is called Charama Sloka, the ultimate conclusion of the Gita. It represents the final instruction of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Earlier chapter explains Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, but all culminate here. Srila Prabhupada, this verse is the most confidential knowledge. He's saying that the essence of all scriptures. And in Prabhupada commentary says like, Sarva Dharman Parityaja means give up superficial ritualistic sectarian duties if they obstruct surrender to Krishna. Mam Ekam Saranam Vraja. Exclusive devotion, not divided faith in demigods, material gains, or philosophies. Aham Tvam Sarvapa, Aham Tvam Mokshashyami. Krishna personally takes the responsibility for the devotee's liberation. Mahasucha, a divine assurance he is giving. Krishna is making insurance through Bhakti Yoga. That as assurance is our insurance. Do not fear, I will protect you. Like only surrender to God can cut the bondage of karma. We have to understand the dog. No other dharma, ritual or philosophy has this power. The universal message is that beyond religion, not Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, this is eternal Sanatana Dharma. Surrender to the Supreme Lord transcends sectarian boundaries. For the troubled humans are burdened by sin, anxiety, and repeated birth and death. Excuse me, sorry. Surrender offers freedom from karma and inner peace. One should realize that. What will achieve by surrendering? Freed from the karma and inner sin. And simple and direct message is that Prabhupada is saying that complex paths of yoga and austerity are not feasible for all. Bhakti is natural, joyful, and universal. That's what is making us to understand. And Krishna is giving eternal promise. Worldly systems give temporary relief. Surrender gives eternal liberation and bliss in God's service. So how this applies to us today? In modern life, so many competing duties, work, family, society, rituals, and yet true fulfillment is in devoting the heart to God. Practical surrender means chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading and living by Bhagavad-gītā. Okay. Offering work, food, and action to Krishna. Trusting his protection over worldly fears. The application, how do we implement in application in our life, even amidst modern chaos, surrender our life's purpose and to God brings harmony, peace, and confidence. So if you see scriptural practices in a deeper understanding parallels, Srimad Bhagavatam says 11th canto, 5th chapter, 41st verse, it says that simply by surrendering to the Supreme Lord, one is freed from material bondage. And Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Majjalila Sharanagati, surrender is the very root of bhakti. In Bhagavad-gītā 9.22, Krishna is that those who are always devoted to me, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Ananyas chintayanto mam paryupasate. He says that you just give focus on me and surrender to me, like no, just give time to me. I will take care. Whatever you're lacking, that I will give you. Krishna is telling that. Hope we discussed previously. So there is a very good example. There was one panda in Puri. His name is Gita Panda. He's such a wonderful devotee. He is a pure Brahmana. So he will not take anything without giving us. So his givingness is that he reads Bhagavad Gita every day. He goes and shares this knowledge to others. And if somebody gives out of compassion to him, then he takes it. He doesn't ask anything. So once he was in so much chaos because of rainy season. It was huge rain. He was not able to go out and beg for his daily life, for eating, and family also has to maintain by him. So the rain was there, all goods have been finished at home for cooking. Then he could not go out. So he went, he could not go out. So nothing was there and the son was crying. Just a small story. If you know, I definitely most of them know. So in this case, he thoroughly has a faith in God, and still after rain ends and then, like son got fever and he was crying like for food and no money to take him to doctor. So wife started scolding him, what kind of husband you are? And so nothing is there. At least we can survive by taking water, but our son, he can't survive because last 2 days this boy is surviving by water because of no food. He got fever. Please go and get something. Then he felt so bad. She went out. So then wife saw the Bhagavad-gītā is open. Then she got upset with Bhagavad-gītā about Krishna. She took a blade and cut that Bhagavad-gītā. Like, then he went out for the begging and get something, some bhiksha. So he was there outside. But after he left home, two boys came, very beautiful, attractive boys. One fellow is black, one fellow is white. And they brought so many goods, eatables, including vegetables, fruits, and so many like cereals, grains, so much stuff which can last for years. That much they brought. They knocked the door. They said, so our Patnaik is there? And wife says, no, he just went out. No. They knock. Okay. Boy says that our Patnaik sent us with all these goods. He is coming back. Okay. He's coming behind us. So please collect. By seeing all this, his wife becomes so much pleased. Oh, she accepted all the goods and she placed it. And this small boy, the black boy, his lip was bleeding. She asked, what happened to you? Why it is bleeding? And the boy said, one of my dearmost person beaten me. Okay. And beaten in the sense, cut my lip by this sharp edged blade. Then she did not realize it. She did not realize it. Then this voice goes off and husband comes, knocks, he comes with empty hand. Wife is welcoming, come, come, come. And when she opened fully doors, he saw that all goods and he felt, where did you get all this? What did you take? And she said, no, no, no. Two boys came, one boy is black, one boy is white. By saying your name, they gave us. Oh, then he saw Bhagavad-gītā is openly and cut. He asked, what happened? I only cut because of I got upset of you. Then the wife says that again. See, this boy, one boy is cut and he was bleeding. Then he immediately realized it. I did not send anyone. I did not collect a single grain. Then he immediately started crying. He was such a wonderful personality. Like he was praising his wife. Like such a wonderful personality you are. You did you got a direct vision of Krishna and they gave you darshan. Such a fool I am. Every day I read, I worship, I preach about him. I did not get that fortunate. See, that's what Krishna says. Whatever you lack, he will provide. The something is missing, the surrenderness is missing. That we have to focus on it. The final takeaway is all duties culminate in one supreme duty, that is surrender to God. Krishna's promise is absolute protection from sin and fear. And this verse is the spiritual solution for the entire human race. Universal peace, liberation, and eternal happiness. Essence of life is surrender everything to Krishna, live in devotion, and be fearless. Okay? This way, your life become successful. Definitely. Okay? The idea is surrender to the idea of surrendering. Okay? So surrender to God and we don't have to worry. Everything will be right. Everything will be all right. And just what is the difficulty? Why don't we just surrender? Most thoughtful people will agree that surrender to the all-powerful, all-knowing God is a good idea. That surrender to the merciful God is the surest way to peace, wisdom, love, and eternal life. Yet, we struggle with surrendering. Okay? And small thing, that what does surrender means? What does surrender means? We learned, right? Surrender to Krishna is glorious. Okay? And surrender to the idea of accepting God's shelter. We can do things to help us surrender to the idea of surrendering to God. That must be there. So one of the greatest benefit of the surrendering to God is happiness. The great Vaishnavas, author and the and our previous Acharya Bhaktivedanta Thakur explains this happens in a song about surrender. He says that he says to the Lord, I have become supremely happy by surrendering myself at your lotus feet. Sorrow has gone far away and there are no more cares. Okay. All I see is joy in the four directions. Your two lotus feet are reservoirs of immortal nectar that grant freedom from both sorrow and fear. Resting in them, I have found peace and I have completely given up the fear of worldly existence. It's from Saranagati. Okay. When we make a conscious choice to surrender to Krishna, to accept his shelter, we become more and more aware of his protection. He gives his surrendered soul all protection. That is his infallible word. Thank you all. I'll just beg you all, for bless me and give comments. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any comments? Vancha kalpaturviyasya kripa sindhubhe vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yes. Hare Krishna. Any comments, please? Any questions?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that excellent session. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam. Dandavat pranam to everybody
Pranam.
assembled.
Thank
Hare
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.